Part 1. My dad is my brother. And now I don't know how to live anymore. Throwaway account because my friends and coworkers know my main, and I don't need them connecting the dots. I never thought I'd write one of those "my life just flipped upside down" posts, but here we are. If you're reading this, please keep in mind that I'm running on coffee, anxiety, and about 3 hours of sleep in the past 2 days. My brain feels like a messy room where all the drawers are open and nothing's where it's supposed to be. Here's the headline version. I found out last week that the man I've called Dad my entire life is also my half-brother. And it's not just some distant, technical thing. It's raw, close, and horrifyingly personal. I guess I should start from the beginning, before the universe decided to throw me into some twisted soap opera plotline. Family background. I grew up in a smallish town in the Midwest. Think, one high school, one Walmart, and the same 5 restaurants everyone rotates through on Friday nights. My parents, parents, always seemed normal. My dad was a mechanic. The kind of guy who smelled faintly of motor oil even at the dinner table, who could fix anything but would grumble about it for 30 minutes first. My mom worked part-time at the library and was the designated sweetheart of our family. I'm 27 now, but I still remember the way my dad would crouch down when I was little to tie my shoes, muttering, "Bunny ears, kiddo, not octopus knots." We weren't rich, but we weren't struggling either. Pretty standard lower middle class vibes. I always thought my family was boring in the best way. Predictable. Safe. I would have bet money that if you opened up my family history, you'd just get a series of holiday photos and bland, "about me" answers. Turns out, nope. The DNA test that started it all. This whole thing began because my girlfriend, well now probably ex-girlfriend, thought it'd be cute if we did one of those at-home DNA tests together. You know, the kind that tells you you're 2% Viking or whatever. We ordered them, spat into the tubes, and sent them off. I forgot about it for a while, until one day I got the notification. "Your results are ready." The ancestry stuff was fun for about 2 minutes. Mostly British and German, with a tiny smidge of unassigned, which I joked about being my mysterious pirate blood. Then I saw the DNA matches section. There, right at the top, was a match labeled half-sibling, with a 27% DNA shared. And the name. I recognized it. It was Dad's younger sister. Confusion phase. At first I thought, okay, maybe this is some kind of glitch. Maybe the app's just wrong. But curiosity is a nasty little parasite. I started Googling what 27% DNA actually meant. And yeah, half-sibling. As in, you share one biological parent. So either my aunt wasn't actually my aunt, or... You can see where my brain started spiraling. I called my girlfriend right away. I was rambling, something about DNA percentages and family trees, and she kept saying, "Babe, slow down. This doesn't make sense." It didn't make sense. Until it did. The confrontation. 2 nights later, I drove over to my parents' house. My mom was in the kitchen, humming while she made tea. My dad was in the garage, working on his truck. I remember standing there in the doorway, heart pounding, watching him wipe his hands on an old rag like it was just another Tuesday. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I need to ask you something, kind of weird." He didn't even look up. "Shoot. So, I did one of those DNA tests, and it says Aunt Lisa is my half-sister." That's when he froze. Like, full-body stillness. Then he slowly put the rag down and leaned against the workbench. "What?" he said. But it wasn't confused, it was warning. I repeated it. This time his jaw tightened. My mom appeared in the doorway, holding a mug, eyes darting between us. You didn't have to find out this way, she said quietly. That sentence. That was the crack in the dam. The truth in pieces. It turns out my grandparents, Dad's parents, had a rough marriage. Rough enough that my grandmother had an affair. She got pregnant. The man she was with? My mom's father. Yes, my mother's dad. Which means my dad and my mom share the same father. Which means my dad is my mom's half-brother. Which means my dad is my half-brother. They told me they didn't plan it, that they didn't even know when they first started dating in high school. They only found out after they were engaged. But by then, they didn't want to stop. I was sitting there, staring at them, feeling like the floor was gone. The words kept echoing in my head, my dad is my brother. The fallout so far. Since that night, I've barely slept. I can't look at family photos without feeling sick. Every memory feels poisoned now. Like my childhood has a crack running right through the middle of it. My girlfriend, X, says she doesn't know if she can unsee this. I don't blame her. And me? I keep going to work, answering emails, nodding in meetings, but inside, it's like I'm standing in the middle of a burning building pretending everything's fine. I don't know what the hell to do. I don't even know who I am anymore. And that's where I'm stuck. Because if my dad is my brother, what does that make me? TLDR. Took a DNA test for fun. Found out my aunt is actually my half-sister. Discovered my dad and mom share the same father. So my dad is also my half-brother. Brain equals broken. Part 2 coming soon, and it gets worse. Part 2, my dad is my brother. And now I don't know how to live anymore. I didn't plan on updating so soon, but honestly, writing part 1 was like opening a floodgate I didn't even know I was holding shut. Plus, a lot has happened since then, and when I say a lot, I mean my entire understanding of reality is melting like an ice cream cone in August. If you haven't read part 1, quick recap, DNA test, surprise half-sibling match, confrontation, the truth comes out. My dad is my mom's half-brother, which makes him my half-brother, which makes my brain want to heat itself into the sun. I thought that would be the end of the bad news portion of this nightmare. Oh, sweet naive me. The first 48 hours after the bomb dropped. I didn't sleep that first night after they told me. I went back to my apartment, made myself a cup of coffee at 3 a.m., which is a terrible idea if you're trying to calm down, and just sat there staring at the steam until it vanished. Every memory I had, birthdays, family road trips, my dad teaching me to ride a bike, kept replaying in my head, but they were all warped now. Like someone had taken a permanent marker to a photo album and scribbled, "Your brother," over my dad's face. My phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom. "Mom, we love you. Please don't hate us." I couldn't bring myself to answer. What was I supposed to say? "Sure thing, no problem. This is totally fine." Talking to my aunt/sister. The next day, I decided to call Lisa, the aunt, who turned out to be my half-sister. She answered on the second ring. "Hey, kiddo," she said, cheerful, like nothing was wrong. "Lisa, did you know?" There was this pause. I swear I could hear her swallow. "Ah, yeah. I've known for a while." Apparently my dad told her when she was in her 20s. She promised to keep it quiet because it's not her story to tell. She said it like it was some kind of noble thing, but all I heard was, "You let me live a lie for almost 3 decades." I hung up on her. I'd never hung up on anyone in my life. The girlfriend situation. My girlfriend, Emily, came over that evening. She brought food, which was sweet, but I couldn't eat. We sat on the couch, and she kept looking at me like she wanted to say something but didn't know how. Finally she said, "I don't think I can do this." I just nodded. What else was there to say? She wasn't wrong. She said she'd give me space, which we both know is code for goodbye. I didn't cry when she left. I just sat there staring at the door. But when I went to brush my teeth at night, I saw myself in the mirror and thought, you're not even who you thought you were yesterday. And that's when I lost it. The confrontation round 2. 2 days after the reveal, I went back to my parents' house. I wasn't planning on yelling, but something about seeing them sitting together on the couch, all casual, set me off. How the hell did you think this was okay? I demanded. My dad, my brother, said, we didn't plan to fall in love. It just happened. It just happened. I laughed. A sharp, ugly laugh. What is this, a Lifetime movie? You're siblings. You're literally siblings. My mom started crying. My dad clenched his jaw and said, we were young, and we thought no one would ever know. We love each other. We love you. Isn't that enough? No. No, it's not enough. The Whisper Network. Here's the thing about small towns. Nothing stays secret for long. I don't know who said what to whom, but by the end of the week, people were acting weird around me at the grocery store. My boss gave me this long, awkward, if you need to talk, speech. I went to grab coffee with my childhood friend Josh, and he blurted out, dude, is it true? Before we'd even ordered. I wanted to crawl out of my own skin. More twists I didn't see coming. This is where it gets even more messed up. After Josh asked me that, I called my mom furious. How is everyone finding out? I demanded. She went quiet, then said, your grandmother, she's been telling people. My grandmother, the original source of this entire cursed genetic equation. I hadn't spoken to her in months. She's one of those people who can turn a casual conversation into a guilt trip in under 30 seconds. When I called her, she didn't even sound guilty. The truth should be out, she said. People need to know where they come from. Yeah, I said. Too bad I didn't get to find out first. The breaking point. Last night, I couldn't take it anymore. I got in my car and just drove. No destination, no plan. I ended up 2 towns over, sitting in some 24-hour diner at 2 a.m., nursing a cup of bad coffee, while a waitress named Marlene told me about her cat's gallbladder surgery. It was the first time in days I felt almost normal. Then my phone buzzed again. It was a message from an unknown number. I think we need to talk. Jay. I stared at it for a while, trying to figure out who Jay was. Then it hit me. My mother's half-brother. The man who's technically my uncle, but also, if my parents' story is right, my biological grandfather. And apparently, he wants to talk. I have no idea what he's going to say, but something tells me I'm not ready for it. And yet, I'm going to meet him. Because at this point, I need answers, even if they destroy whatever's left of my sanity. Part 3 coming soon. And trust me, the ending is not what I expected. Part 3, my dad is my brother. And now I don't know how to live anymore. If you're new here, please read parts 1 and 2 first, otherwise, none of this will make sense, and you'll just think I'm making up the world's worst country song. Quick recap. DNA test discover my aunt is my half-sister. Turns out my dad and mom are half-siblings. Fallout. Breakups. Small-town gossip. Cryptic text from Jay, my mom's half-brother who's supposedly my biological grandfather. That's where I left you. Now here's what happened. Meeting Jay. I agreed to meet him at this little coffee shop halfway between our towns. I got there early, which was dumb because it just gave me more time to panic in the parking lot. Jay showed up in a battered pickup, wearing jeans and a flannel that looked older than me. He's in his late 60s, gray hair, weathered face. He walked like a man carrying invisible bricks on his back. Thanks for meeting me, he said, shaking my hand. His grip was strong, but his eyes were tired. We sat down, ordered coffee, and for a while, we just stirred our cups like two strangers in a dentist's waiting room. Finally, he said, "You've been told I'm your grandfather." I nodded. "That's not true." "Wait, what?" I literally blinked at him. "What do you mean it's not true?" He took a deep breath. "Your mom's father, my stepdad, he's the one who had an affair with your grandmother. Not me. People confuse the timeline because we were all living close and I didn't correct it. But I'm not your grandfather." "So who is?" I asked. My voice sounded weird in my own ears. "That," he said, "is the part no one wants to admit." The real story. According to Jay, my grandmother, Dad's mom, had an affair with a man who wasn't related to any of us, a man who left town before my dad was born. My grandfather raised my dad as his own, and everyone pretended it was normal. But here's the kicker, my mom knew this before she married my dad. She knew they weren't blood-related the way the story made it sound. They're not half-siblings. There's no shared parent. So why the hell did they tell me they were? Confrontation number 3. I drove straight to my parents' house after meeting Jay. My dad was in the living room watching TV. My mom was folding laundry. I slammed the door behind me. "Why did you lie to me?" They both froze. My mom set down a shirt. "What are you talking about?" "I talked to Jay. He says you're not half-siblings. That your parents didn't share a father." My mom's eyes flicked to my dad's. He looked guilty. Finally, my dad said, "We wanted you to stop digging." "Stop digging? You told me you were siblings. Do you have any idea what that's done to me?" My mom started crying again. "We thought it would be easier if you hated us for something outrageous than if you knew the real reason." The real reason, part 2. Turns out, the truth is somehow worse. Not in a genetic sense, but in a moral one. My mom got pregnant at 17. Not by my dad. By a married man in town, one she refuses to name. My dad, who was 19 at the time and already in love with her, agreed to marry her and raise me as his own to protect her reputation. The fake sibling story? That was a shield. A horrible, warped shield to keep me from asking too many questions about why I don't look like my dad. Processing the lies. I felt like I was walking in circles inside my own skull. For days, I couldn't decide what was worse. Thinking my parents were half-siblings or knowing my entire identity is built on lies they kept adding to over the years. It's like someone swapped my life for a counterfeit version, and only now am I seeing the bad printing. Talking to Emily, the ex. I called Emily, told her everything. She listened quietly, then said, "So, your parents aren't related after all?" "Yeah. That's good, right?" I laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "It's less bad. But it's still bad." We talked for almost 2 hours. She didn't say she wanted to get back together, but she also didn't hang up in a rush. Small mercies. The gossip storm. Of course, by the time this new version of the story trickled through town, it had morphed into at least 5 different versions. Some people think I'm the secret child of a local pastor. Others think my dad really is my brother, but I'm in denial. I've stopped trying to correct anyone. I'm just tired. A weird sense of relief. Here's the strange thing. Knowing the truth, the real truth, lifted a weight I didn't realize was crushing me. My dad isn't my brother. That sentence alone feels like a rope loosening around my neck. But the anger is still there. They let me believe something monstrous because it was easier than being honest. The last conversation. 2 nights ago, my dad came over. We sat on my porch, the air thick with summer humidity. "I did love you from the start," he said. "Doesn't matter who your biological father is. You're my son." I believe him. But I also believe I'll never see him the same way again. Where I am now. It's been 3 weeks since the DNA results showed up in my inbox, but it feels like I've aged years. I've started therapy. I'm not talking to my mom much. I need space from her. I see my dad occasionally, but the visits are awkward. I still don't know who my biological father is, and maybe I never will. Part of me wants to find him. Another part of me doesn't want to open that door. Final thoughts. If there's a moral here, it's this: secrets rot. They sit in the walls of your life like mold, spreading until they're impossible to ignore. And when you finally rip the walls open, you might find something less horrifying than you imagined, but you'll still have to live with the damage. TLDR for Part 3. Met with J. Learn my parents aren't actually related. They lied to stop me from digging. Truth: my mom got pregnant at 17 by a married man. My dad married her to protect her. I'm not who I thought I was, but at least I'm not the product of incest. This is my last update. Thanks to everyone who read and messaged me. You have no idea how much it helped knowing strangers cared enough to listen.